Hi everyone, it's Pastor Wagner, and this is my weekly video blog.
Hi, Pastor Wagner. This is TOG. It's wonderful to meet you.
Today I want to talk about whether or not atheism is a religion.
Nope! Alright, fine, we'll continue, whatever.
Now there are some key points to religions, which characterize most of them, which I'd like to go over in brief, and then we want to look at each of those and see if they fit the bill for atheism, see if atheism is indeed a religion. So most religions have a belief in a higher power that is the reason for one's existence. Most religions believe in things that cannot be observed and must be accepted by faith. Most religions have a story of creation. Most religions have a moral law to which one must adhere. Most religions are evangelistic, meaning they go out there and try to promote their religion and share it with other people and evangelize. And most of them assemble with those of like faith for fellowship.
My favorite part of your descriptions is that on each one you say, most religions, meaning that your list is completely useless when attempting to shoehorn atheism into a religion. The only way you would be able to say atheism as a religion is if you could fit it into a statement of all religions are, well, say, the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods, which would be the actual definition of a religion, and I can promise you this, atheists don't worship Superman.
So let's look at atheism and see if atheism meets these criteria for a religion. First of all, belief in a higher power that is the reason for one's existence. Well, atheists believe that the universe is eternal, and therefore it is the reason for its own existence, right? So they can't admit that the universe is not eternal, because if they say that the universe is not eternal, then they have to say that the universe has a beginning. And if it has a beginning, that means it has a cause. And if it has a cause, that means it has something which caused it, which would be outside of the universe, which would be God. And of course, they can't admit that. So they have to say it always existed. That's what a lot of them will say.
Oh, no. Oh, man. We're starting out with a doozy. And you even ended your statement with, well, most will say this, which makes your point superfluous. And atheists believe that the universe is eternal, do they? Well, okay. I will give you that there might be some who do think this. But as far as I understand, most atheists, including myself, would answer your point with three little words: Big Bang and theory. The universe is not eternal, and it did have a beginning when a singularity exploded, creating the universe, which is still expanding, and this happened around 17.1 billion years ago. I'm not a scientist or a cosmologist, and yet I seem to have more of an understanding of this with my layman's understanding than you ever will. The fact that the universe had a beginning doesn't immediately mean that there has to be a God, just that there is a beginning and that the universe is not eternal. If it was eternal, it wouldn't end at some point. And I can promise you, this universe will end one day or another. We just don't know when that is.
Well, if it always existed, that means it's eternal. And if it's eternal, that means it's the reason for its own existence, right? You see where I'm going with this? Atheists believe that the universe is the reason for their existence. What else could be the reason for their existence except the universe? The universe is the reason for their existence. Therefore, atheists have a God, namely the universe. The universe is their God. Think about it. The universe, in their mind, has all the characteristics of God, right? It's omnipresent. It's pretty much everywhere. It's omnipotent. It's huge. It's vast. It's extremely powerful. We can't even comprehend the ends of it. And it's also eternal, right? It goes on forever, and it's always existed. So therefore, it has all the characteristics of a God for them. It is their God.
Oh, this just gets better and better. So the universe is omnipresent. Sure, I'll give you that one, because you can literally not step anywhere on this planet or in this universe and not be in this universe. The universe is everywhere. But omnipotent? I'm sorry, when was the last time you heard someone say that the universe was a sentient being? Yeah, there is a certain phrase, the universe is speaking to me. But that is just a saying and not proof for a sentient universe. The universe is our God. Give me a break. Though if it was a god, it sure as hell would be a better god than Yahweh ever was. The universe hasn't killed anything. Unlike your gods over 2 million points on Call of Duty over the past 6,000 years of biblical history as dictated by the Bible. This can only get better if we're starting out with what could easily be the worst possible point you could have made in this video.
Now, in that atheists deny the existence of any other gods, atheists are monotheists, you see? So they are it's a monotheistic religion, atheism is.
And Christianity is a polytheistic religion. At least I can easily prove that point, unlike you trying to say that atheism and it's monotheistic.
It's so anti-scientific. But think about all the things that the atheists accept by faith. Many atheists believe in a multiverse which has never been observed, and for which there is no evidence.
Once again, we're with the whole many atheist idea. Westboro Baptist Church are a bunch of assholes, so I guess that because only many are a certain select few are one way, that proves that all Christians are assholes, right? Give me a break. I don't personally know of any atheists or any of my fellow atheists who believe in a multiverse simply because we have no evidence to prove it. Sure, there are mathematical calculations that show that it is a definite possibility, but that is about it. Go pull the other one, Pastor Wagner, because this one's not working.
A multiverse, if you haven't heard of it, is a multiple universe where there's many universes out there. Of course, we've never seen this. We've never observed it. We have no credible evidence whatsoever.
Which is why most atheists that I know don't believe in the multiverse.
It is a belief. It is a unfounded, faith-based belief. That's what you call faith-based atheism when you start believing in things like a multiverse. Atheists believe in the doctrine of evolution, such as biological evolution, stellar evolution, chemical evolution, which has never been observed. None of these evolutions that supposedly happen have ever been observed. Nobody's ever witnessed stars evolving. Nobody's ever witnessed chemicals evolving or the periodic table elements and that evolving into each other or some nonsense like that. Nobody's ever witnessed biological evolution where one kind of animal has evolved into another kind. We've never seen this. We've never observed it. There's not one shred of evidence for it. It's faith-based atheism.
Okay, Ken Ham. Have you personally observed your God doing anything? Oh, I forgot. No, you haven't. But you have this whole loophole of God works in mysterious ways, and the Bible says the Bible proves nothing. But what we do have for evolution is multiple, and I mean multiple transitional fossils that have been found that show the evolutionary chains for different species, including freaking whales. Your talk about kinds evolving into other kinds is not how evolution works. The problem with you and what seems to be your creationist buddies is that you demand the crocoduck. And that is not how evolution works. Go back to Answers in Genesis.
And atheists believe that life came from non-life, which has never been observed. There's a thing in science, in science, which is called the law of biogenesis. It's actually called a law. This is such a firmly established principle. It's called a law. Biogenesis. Life only comes from life. But atheists, because of their faith in their religion, believe that life came from non-life.
The law of biogenesis, as stated by Louis Pasteur, disproves spontaneous generation, and that is it. But no one believes that flies are born from rotting meat. That is where the theory of abiogenesis comes into play. Do we understand everything about it? No. But does that mean that it is wrong? No. There is evidence that shows the theory does have traction and grounds to stand on. The theory was tested first in the 1950s and proved plausible. And it was tested again last year with the more advanced knowledge and technology and proved plausible once again. The theory of abiogenesis is not believed or studied on faith, but by evidence that shows that it is the best explanation we have for the origins of life on this planet up to this point. And it is a whole lot better than saying, well, I don't understand, so God.
It's a religion. Atheists have a story of creation. You see, atheists love to get on Christians about the biblical account of creation and make fun of us. But atheists have their own childish story of creation, which they accept by faith, and it goes something like this.
I'm just going to speed through this part because it is nothing more than him poorly explaining the Big Bang, abiogenesis, and evolution, all which have evidence. Hence, that would mean it's not being believed on by faith, but through the scientific method.
There's the atheist faith story of their creation. How about a moral law to which one must adhere? Well, atheists, a lot of them, you would think that they would pride themselves in their immorality because they're just animals that have evolved and they can do whatever they want.
Morality and empathy have been observed in the animal kingdom, so even animals have moral codes.
Do what is helpful and to avoid what is harmful. That is their moral law.
And the issue is what exactly here? Like I said, animals including apes hold these same codes of not harming other people or to do things that are good for the tribe, if you observe and study them. So are you trying to say that apes practice the religion of atheism? Sure, I'll give you the apes are atheists since they don't seem to ever show any signs of bowing and worshiping a greater, powerful, godly being, but that doesn't mean apes are religious.
They say that we must respect men's opinions or men's decisions to live how they wish. Unless, of course, that decision would be to not bake a cake for a sodomite wedding or something like that, or provide flowers for it or something like that. But other than that, we ought to respect men's decisions unless they contradict the atheistic religion.
Oh, do what you want unless you bring harm unto others. Do what you want unless you will bring harm upon yourself. Don't be an ass and not bake a cake for the sodomite, which we are all sodomites, since sodomy is an act that brings sexual gratification that will not result in a child being born, which includes blowjobs and masturbation, and according to the Bible, any position other than missionary. You paint a false picture of atheists being amoral and believing that they can do whatever they want, but we are not the ones carrying around signs incurring the emotional torture to the families of dead soldiers. We're not the ones shooting up Paris all because of a goddamn cartoon being drawn. We're not the ones following the rules of a moral god, in quotation marks, that killed more people than all the dictators of this world combined.
Evangelism. Atheists, believe it or not, are very evangelical. Some of them, anyway. Many of them. Many atheists try to evangelize the lost and convert them to their religion. Believe me, I've been on the receiving end of that. Some of them even write tracts with hope of convincing people to believe in their God. I'm not making this up. I have an atheist friend who shows up to meetup groups where Christians and atheists get together to debate the existence of God, and he hands out tracts to try to get you to believe in his religion and to convert to his God of atheism. It's kind of comical in a way. Some of them devote much time to giving speeches promoting their beliefs. I'm serious. I know atheists that go out there and try to give speeches to convert people to their religion. I've seen it lots of times. Some of them go to meetup groups, to, like I said, to debate with Christians to try to persuade them to convert to their belief system.
I call bullshit on this friend existing, since you don't show one of these tracts. If you have this friend and they're such a good friend of yours, then you would have had a tract to show right now to provide the evidence for your statements. Sure, atheists talk about science and the natural world, but that doesn't make it a religion. I talk to people that I know will never change from their Christianity about God because I enjoy the debates. And at the end of the day, they end up growing stronger in their relationship to their personal God, and I have a fun conversation. That doesn't equate to atheism being a bloody freaking religion. Who knew? Maybe I should be calling these people Father Armored Skeptic, Pope Thunderfoot, and Saint Aaron Raw.
And lastly, the last characteristic of religion would be assembling with those of like faith for fellowship.
Where he ends up talking about atheist conventions, which would mean by this criteria, comic books and anime are religions as well.